What can be made of President Jacob Zuma surviving the 8th motion of no confidence in him? Do opposition parties expect the ANC to remove itself from power? And is the DA's call for an early election constitutional? Why is the DA impatient to wait for 2019 to remove the ANC from power through the ballot box? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. On Tuesday, opposition parties failed for the 8th time to remove President Jacob Zuma from office through a motion of no confidence. The outcome of the motion has elicited much debate, though, particularly that President Zuma survived the action by a mere 21 votes. While their move failed, opposition leaders were unanimous in their position that indeed the ANC can be taken on. It remains to be seen if the ANC will take any action against those MPs who will be found to have voted with opposition. The DA has not given up, though, with the party announcing that it is due to table a motion to have Parliament dissolved for an early election to be held. In reaction to this latest move, the ANC says the DA is plotting a regime change in the country. But is the DA on a mission to remove President Zuma from office at all cost? We are live, and therefore you can call us and air your views. The numbers to dial 089-110-4210. Internationally, plus 2789-110-4210. Our Twitter handle at QuestionTime24. Now, my guest today, Makashulekana, is the Democratic Alliance Copter spokesperson, and from our Parliament studios, Veronica Mente, she's the EFF whip in Parliament. And on the line, Nongeba Mhlauli is ANC parliamentary spokesperson. Let me welcome you all to studio. Well, let me, perhaps even before I go into the show, let's firstly take a look at what some of the leaders of the opposition had to say soon after the announcement of the motion of no confidence results.
What we are happy about is that we have defeated the motion. That was the most important focus of the ANC parliamentarians here. As to what we then do from here, because first of all, we must first study the results properly and see what has happened. But all we know is that this motion of the DA to remove an ANC government has been defeated.
As I am that President Zuma remains president tonight, I do think that he would be more disappointed than I am. It shows that he's lost the confidence of his own caucus. And if he wants to do the honorable thing, I would say to him he must resign.
We are delighted that we've been able to pick up 177 votes. And if you add the abstentions, it would mean that the ANC lost at least 30 members who went the other way. And that shows to us that the writing is on the wall.
The opposition did not lose a single vote. So it's clear that the tide is turning towards the opposition. This is a big elephant. We said we are going to eat it piece by piece, and the results are showing now.
Okay, those are opposition parties in Parliament in reaction to the vote of no confidence having been lost there by the opposition parties. The ANC, of course, delighted, but well, funny enough, Jackson Tembu says they are going to study their results. I don't know what is it to study there, but anyway, Makashul, you failed to get President Zuma out of office. Now you're going to court again.
Thanks, Mpho, and afternoon to the viewers. I have to say that the result of Tuesday is very encouraging. You know, in that it's shown that Jacob Zuma has lost the interest of, has lost the confidence of his caucus. Some members of his caucus, we know what's happening within the ANC. And if you're talking about the impeachment court papers that were lodged in support of the case that the EFF has brought, it's something that we believe needs to be done, not only for President Zuma, but also for our constitutional democracy, because we are no longer a young democracy anymore. So it's something that we believe the Constitutional Court needs to rule on, you know, because President Zuma has been found to have been in breach of his oath of office. So we want the Constitutional Court to decide on that matter.
Well, let me just check with the EFF. You definitely want President Zuma out of office by any means necessary, to quote from Malcolm X.
Yes, we do. What makes us happy right now is the fact that what Jackson Tembu is saying, that the motion was defeated. It was defeated by a very narrow margin. And that narrow margin means that more than 40 members of parliament of the ANC voted with the opposition. And it shows that there's still hope that Jacob Zuma is going to go out. Either way. So either we impeach and the results of the impeachment come to the House. The likelihood is that on the secret ballot, he is going to go.
So what is going to happen now? Just take us through the motion of no confidence lost. The next process is what? Impeachment?
The impeachment case is coming up on the 5th of September, which EFF has put forward, joined by UDM, COPE, and the DA has now lately joined in. And with that process, we are actually asking the Constitutional Court to instruct Parliament that it must take that process through and appoint an ad hoc committee, which is going to start a process more like a disciplinary hearing for Jacob Zuma. And after that, the findings of that process will have to go to the House, and the House will have to take a decision. Of course, we know that the ANC, they feel like they don't want to go, but they will go this time around, because that is going to be subjected to a secret ballot voting as well.
So what makes you think that you will win it this time?
Come again?
Well, I'm saying, what makes you think that when it goes to the secret ballot, you'll get it this time?
With what has happened during the vote of no confidence on Tuesday, most members of the ANC, of course, did not know what is the process, and their conscience was talking to them, and they just felt that they must vote and toe the party line, not knowing if the secret ballot is going to expose them or not. But there are those that were brave enough to vote with the opposition, knowing very well now that the secret ballot is not going to expose them, and therefore others will also learn that with the others not being exposed, it means that they need to use their conscience, they need to follow their own conscience, they must protect the constitution of this country, they must protect the people of this country, and they must hold the moral high ground.
Okay, let's go to the ANC. Given what both the EFF and the DA have said, what is the ANC's response? It seems you'll be under siege.
Well, so first of all, just to reiterate the fact that, one, this 8th attempt by the opposition to remove a democratically elected president through parliament has failed yet again, and even their next attempt will fail, because President Zuma and the ANC have been elected by the people of South Africa, and it will be the people of South Africa who then give a different mandate as and when that time comes. So it is wishful thinking on their part to think that they can use the legislature to change what was the democratic outcome of the 2014 election. That's first and foremost. With regards to the vote on Tuesday, as we said, that yes, the vote was defeated, and we've also expressed our disappointment at those who have voted with the opposition. And we must also caution the EFF on the very adventurous numbers of 40 or 50 members of the ANC, because that is not what our calculations say. But be that as it may, we've expressed our disappointment of that, and the ANC said that we will look into the matter. We will do an analysis of the outcomes of the vote. We will speak to the comrades and find out, if anyone is willing to state why they vote in a particular way, and the organization will take it forward, because that's the kind of organization the ANC is. We don't always agree, and where we don't, we find a solution that will take everyone forward.
But what you're saying is in contradiction to what Jackson Mthembu said. Jackson said there's no follow-up. They accept that some members voted with the opposition, but now you're saying that there's going to be a question and answer where people will be asked whether they are willing to say why they voted with the opposition.
No, there's absolutely no contradiction. If you read the statement of the ANC chief of yesterday, in that statement he says that the organization will do an analysis of the outcomes of the vote, and in that analysis then the organization will then take the necessary action in that regard. As to what form that analysis will be, the organization will then decide. But the chief has stated that an analysis of the vote is necessary, and it will be conducted by the leadership of the organization.
So what does it exactly mean? Are you going to check who voted how?
Well, I mean, you would know that that would be impossible because it was a secret vote.
Yes.
So whatever form the analysis takes, that will be a decision of the leadership of the organization. But it would be important for the organization to reflect on the outcome of the vote and see what the necessary action or further steps would need to be taken.
What are the chances? What are the likelihoods? Because you're now talking of action.
I'm not sure if you're listening to me properly.
I am.
I said that the organization said that it will make an analysis. Whatever form that analysis takes will be the prerogative of the leadership, and the outcomes of that analysis on assessment will then determine what needs to be done. So let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay. Well, I still want to pursue that, but as the DA, I'm tempted to ask you the same question which I asked the EFF. What makes you think that this coming round will be successful if during a vote, a secret ballot, you weren't able to get enough votes?
When we first tabled the motion of no confidence in Jacob Zuma in the beginning of 2015, we only got 96 votes. We did it the second time, it increased to 115. And then when we had the seventh one, our vote count was 126. And as you know, now it's public knowledge that on Tuesday we got 177. So you can see the upward trend of the number of the ANC MPs that are now aligning themselves with wanting Jacob Zuma to go. So Jacob Zuma and his ANC, they are starting to see their numbers decrease at a very increasing rate. The rate of decrease is increasing. And we know now we only need 24 MPs to support us in the next vote that we have brought forward, wherein we have to ask for the dissolution of Parliament. So we are confident that the numbers and the trends are in our side. They support what we're doing. And the reason we are putting this motion, by the way, is because Jacob Zuma, since he came into office in 2009, and we know the back of 783 charges that were dropped without anyone knowing the reasons by Mukode Dimshe, he has been a dismal failure. There's nothing that he has done that people of South Africa can say that they benefited from. The only people that have benefited from Jacob Zuma's presidency are the people who stay in sex and wealth, the Guptas. Those are the ones that are happy with Jacob Zuma. Many South Africans, even people within the ANC, because now ANC cannot come out and claim that, no, this is just opposition members talking. Now we know for a fact that members of the ANC in Parliament don't want Jacob Zuma to continue as a president.
Let's go to my king. My king, is it Nganga or Nanga?
Nganga.
Okay, Nganga.
Only it is the opposition it's like desperate moves. This is only what I can tell you when I am for. Yes. This is only a desperate move from the opposition. opposition. When they fail this so many times, what they can do next? What I'm saying, they must just wait until they can get themselves into order. Leave the ANC issues for the ANC for now. Thank you.
Oh, so Nganga, you're saying Jacob Zuma is the ANC's problem and he must be left at that?
Politically, yes, that can be said like that because this is ANC issues.
EFF, leave ANC president to the ANC and concentrate on your issues.
No, that's not going to happen. We were going to leave Jacob Zuma to the ANC if he was a problem of the ANC, but Jacob Zuma is the president of the country, the so-called president of the country, and he is corrupt. He takes the money of the country, builds himself a home, takes every tender of the country, gives it to the Guptas. And that's tax money. That's the budget of this country. And we cannot leave Zuma to the ANC because he is not eating the money of the ANC, but eating the money of our people. People are poor outside. They don't have homes. He has a chicken run of worth $1 million. And how do we then leave it to the ANC? The ANC is never going to do anything with Zuma. Zuma is our problem now, and we are going to deal with him.
But is that what you see in your president? Do you see him as a liability, as the EFF is alleging here?
Well, first of all, the EFF has this propensity to make sweeping statements that are not backed up by any scientific data. My colleague there states that no one wants President Jacob Zuma, which is absolutely not true. And if they have conducted a study where the findings of the study was that no one wants President Jacob Zuma, then we would be very glad if they were to share the outcomes of that study with us. But up until such a time, it is completely untrue, and it is just a sweeping political statement that has absolutely no backing. President Jacob Zuma was elected by the people of South Africa, by 11 million people of South Africa, as the presidential candidate that the ANC put forward. And it is those people who will then say that we no longer want this president. Up until such a time, the EFF must respect the will of the people, and the EFF must campaign to win elections. But President Jacob Zuma was elected as the presidential candidate of the ANC in 2014 and remains the president up until that changes. But secondly, I want to come to this point of public grievances, because we must never pretend as if there are not legitimate concerns that have been raised. And the ANC has been the first to say that, you know what, there are legitimate concerns.
Then what are you doing?
Regarding the issue, I'm going to come to that. Please don't interrupt me. Regarding the issues of state capture, regarding the Gupta leaks, etc., etc. And the ANC has said that we must investigate.
No, I'm going to interject. Wait a minute. I'm going to interject now. You can't be telling us that we have been saying that we must investigate. For how long should you be investigating things which you know that people have verified are true? What is there to investigate in the Gupta emails which have been verified by people who are mentioned there?
No. First and foremost, the veracity of those are yet to be tested. And by the way, the ANC is not denying. The ANC has never denied the Gupta emails. The ANC has said that let's get to the bottom of this. That's what the ANC said.
But that's politically, that's a political strategy.
No. If you're going to ask me questions, allow me to finish.
You have answered enough. That's why I'm able to interrupt you. That's why I'm saying you need to also be fair to our listeners and viewers out there. There's no way that we're just going to give you time to just go on and say things which we know that are baseless. We're saying to you that members of the ANC have come out to verify those emails. What more are you investigating?
I said, and if you had listened to me, I said very well that the ANC has said, let's get to the bottom of these emails.
The bottom has already been arrived at. Which bottom do you need, non-member?
There's no bottom that has been arrived at.
There is. Isn't Ayanda Joshua a leader of the ANC?
Wait. Can I talk?
Let me answer my questions here.
When the Gupta emails came out, the first thing that Parliament did, Parliament said all committees that are engaged in these or that where their departments are named in the Gupta leaks and Gupta emails must start the process of getting to the bottom of it and investigating who is involved, what happened, and where there's any wrongdoing that has been found, those people must be prosecuted. That's what Parliament has said, and that's what Parliament is engaged in currently. The Public Enterprises Committee is currently engaged in such a process where there was part of the Gupta leaks was that ESCOM had been involved in particular actions where the Guptas are concerned, and action is being taken in that regard to come to a conclusive finding of what exactly happened, and not just jump on a bandwagon because it is therefore in the process. The ANC has said, let's investigate, and Parliament is currently investigating. It is not just public enterprises. There are other committees that are engaged in the same process. The claim that nothing has been done is not true.
Hold it there. Mohali, you are in Raw Report. Welcome.
Yes, how are you?
I'm well. Thanks for the call.
I'm okay. I've been holding for some time now.
I'm sorry about that.
Yes, look, and your guest there. I'll start with the EFF.
Yes.
The EFF has a party boss who is a crook.
Yeah.
Who stole our money, tax money, and bought himself a house in something for cash.
Okay.
Bought another house in Flora Park for cash. Bought a farm for cash. That is another crook.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to say that he is the same as Jacob Zuma.
Okay.
But I'm trying to find that the EFF is a hypocrite.
Okay.
Because there's a thin line between Jacob Zuma and Julius Malema. And then I'll come to the DA.
Yes.
The DA, unfortunately, is something else that you cannot describe.
Okay.
Because what they represent, they don't represent the majority of the people. Their policies are not in line with what is going to benefit the majority of the people on the ground. And we know why. So, I'll say, based on that, myself, I'm apolitical. I don't belong to any political party, but looking at things from a distance, I think that the DA is not representing me. The EFF has got policies that are representing me, but they've got a party boss with a crook. So, and then the combination of all these factors, they are just making me to think that what is playing in Parliament currently is personal grudges between Jacob Zuma and Julius Malema.
Mohali, thank you very much. I'm going to give both of you 1 minute each to just conclude. Let's start with the EFF.
Mpho,
yep.
There has never been proof that CIC is corrupt. He has taken money off anyone. Even the courts could not find him guilty. They have let him go. So that person who is saying he has taken money, that is not true. It's a big fat lie. That's not true. The crook here and the criminal is Jacob Zuma, who makes sure that his family benefits out of the country's coffers. He's not taking money of the ANC. He is misusing the funds of the state. He is making sure that the appointments of the cabinet are outsourced. And that is not what we are going to allow. This country's cabinet must be appointed by the president and a legitimate president in that regard. Okay. The Constitutional Court has already told us that Zuma is not a legitimate president because he has breached his own oath of office. And therefore, we are not going to let him be here and start laughing and doing all those things. He is a liar. He is a crook. We are going to deal with him, and we are going to make sure that we remove him.
Okay. DA?
On Tuesday morning, we had the Jacob Zuma problem. We thought Jacob Zuma is the only problem, but we do now know that we also have an ANC problem in this country. As you can hear from Nongeba, that the ANC is failing to deal with its own members. Who have agreed that they've helped the Guptas loot the state coffers. So we cannot only look at Jacob Zuma as someone who's separate from the ANC. We have a Jacob Zuma problem. We have an ANC problem, and that's why we are moving as a DA that we need to use Section 50 of the Constitution and dissolve Parliament so that we can have fresh elections wherein the majority of South Africans can give new mandate to the public representatives in Parliament, and those people must be there to serve South Africa with integrity.
Well, we have run out of time. That was quick, and that was question time. From me and the entire crew, you have yourself a wonderful time. I'm a